Hello, hello! Welcome to an oil pastel video. Today we will talk about how to paint tiny details. First off, I am painting in the sketchbook I bound. It's Hanemühle Bugra cotton paper. And there is Sennelier as well as Caran oil pastels I will be using. But the highlight of today are these 4, or is it 5? 1, 2, 5. It's 5 pencils I collected over the course of the last few weeks because they are not easy to come by. They have very oily lead and therefore should be able to be painted with on top of oil pastels. Let's try these out. We have 2 from Contè, Paris. One is the Carbone freebie and one is Pierre Noire freebie. We also have the Pitt oil base. One is in black, extra soft. I believe this is the softest one you can get from them. And you want to go extra soft as possible, because the softer, the less pressure you will need to apply some pigment. And I also have it in this sanguine color. The last one you have probably already seen. This is the Caran neocolor 1. I only have this one in black, but there are many colors that people are painting beautiful things with. I'd be very interested in trying these out as well, but right now I'm just loving oil pastels and they are a bit expensive. Caran is one of the most expensive art supply brands I know. Okay, let's try these out. So many times I tried, but I just don't remember. I'm so sorry for dreaming about the future. Already you can tell that the Contè Paris Pierre is very vibrant, very black. The others can't really compare. They could, however, create finer lines. I think that is truly the compromise you always have to go for. Do you want to be able to create these very thin lines, or do you want to have a pigmented stroke of pencil? I'll create some very small paintings here and then I'll be back and try to place details on top of them with these. And I will also show you maybe 2 or 3 techniques I use to create finer details. This might be a bit too small, but we won't know until we try. A subscriber on Instagram actually asked for a forest scene with magical beings quite a while ago, so I'm sorry it took me this long, but Carla, thank you for your suggestion, and here it is.
Hey stranger, look my way. You're new in town, I'm wondering your name, and I'm guessing that it's real pretty and then some. Hey stranger,
you will see me use mostly this blending stump. I did a video just recently about how I use it and what blending stumps are. I'll link it somewhere in the corner if you're interested. I'll be using this for almost all of the painting because it is so tiny. And also this golem isn't the first time I painted this stone golem, but it's the first time I'm painting him in color. He is on the cover of one of the gouache sketchbook editions, but only as a line art. So I'm very excited to see how he turns out.
you sure know how to do. I see you standing there wearing flowers in your hair and think, hey, you sure look like you. I like everything about you. I like everything about you. Yes I do, yes I do. I like everything about you. Oh, I like everything about you. But I came in on Monday and I didn't see your face, and came back on Tuesday and you weren't in the place, and Wednesday and Thursday everything about you. I like everything about you. Everything, everything, everything. I like everything about you. Oh, I like everything about you.
So I didn't go overboard with the colors and details I did with the Oil Pastel stick. Usually I go for a more realistic look and I try to avoid black at all costs. It rarely really is true black that you have to use. But for today we will try to outline all of the shapes, give it a little bit of comic look. Let's start with Contè à Paris Carbon Freebie, and I will try to outline the shapes, paint on top of the oil pastels and see how this is doing. Also, I will get a sheet of white paper to make sure the wax doesn't clog up the lead. Sorry, the lead. I am working on my pronunciation. It was on purpose that I didn't fill in the background because you will be able to see mistakes more clearly that way. Usually a way to go about details that I use is continue the background until there is only a tiny leaf left. Okay. I just started painting with this one and realized that this is not suitable. I don't know how I mixed it up, but I truly thought both of these would be good. However, the carbon is not oily. I just checked and it also doesn't paint oily. And I'll have to put it away. This one is not suited. Sorry for getting your hopes up, but we only have 3 choices. The Contè Paris, the Faber Castell Oil Base, and the Caran Neocolor 1. Let's try this. Oh, this works much better. I don't have to press down at all. But you also get a lot of pigment on your hand, so you need to be careful with that. I am very impressed. This is doing a great job. Every now and then you should clean it because there will be oil on the lead. And then it should be good to go again. Yeah, wonderful. Let's switch to the Faber Castell. I don't expect it to be as black because we already saw up here that it is more grayish. Oh, I need several strokes and I do need to push down quite hard. No, this isn't working as well as the Contè à Paris, but it is still working. If you only are able to get this one, I'd say get it. It's better than nothing, but the difference is definitely noticeable. I'd say this one is good for shading areas, shading small areas, because you will mix a lot more pigment than with the Contè à Paris. It works okay, but I do need to get rid of the wax very often, or the oil pastel. At the same time, you can tell that the very small details will not be achievable with this one because the lead is so thick. One more to go. Let's try the neocolor 1. I am am turning it while making these little details. That way I don't have to clean it as often and the oil pastel will not clog it up as fast. I don't feel like I have as much control over this one as I did with the two pencils. But I also don't have to press down hard. So it should be, yep, it's able to even paint on top of very soft oil pastel. Definitely my favorite as far as consistency goes. I wish I had this one in white as well. Unfortunately, it is only available in different variants of black, like H, HB, 2B, and 3B. But it's doing such a good job. I just wish it was available in white as well. Now let's try to blend the pencil, some of it, not all of it. I am so impressed by these. I'll just put in the last details and chat with you about this channel for a second. If you're not interested in that and want to jump to where I talk about these, I'll put the timestamp somewhere here. But I wanted to tell you that I am about to reach 1,000 subscribers, which is very exciting for me. I want to thank you for being here on this channel and watching the videos, enjoying art supplies with me. I want to do something special for that occasion and ask you what you would consider to be a treat. Maybe something like a real-time drawing session is something you would enjoy, or maybe a tour of all my art supplies. Whatever you think would be exciting for you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Also, there is just more real-time feedback on Instagram if you ever want to follow me there. I'd love to do some polls on there. And it doesn't matter if you are subscriber number 970 or if you were there from the beginning. I value your input a lot and would love to hear from you in the comments. Let's talk about the final review of these and the pros and cons I was able to pick up on this test. The Pitt oil base from Faber Castell is good for details simply because the lead can come to a fine point, and also it is able to be sharpened in a normal pencil sharpener. You might notice that my hands are quite dirty. That is because this one fell down on the floor, broke its tip off, and I tried to sharpen it, but well, when you try to sharpen it in a pencil sharpener, it will crumble, hence the pigment everywhere. Then I tried to sharpen it with a scalpel, which wasn't easy as well, but I managed to, well, do this, whatever this is. And I was able to still draw with it. It did not crumble on top of my painting. So I'd say that's a con, definitely, especially in comparison to how easy it was to sharpen this one. This one I don't think you can sharpen at all. You'd probably have to use a scalpel as well. You'd have to use it strategically so that there is always one fine edge. That much about how to use and sharpen these. Then, as I mentioned, this one comes to the finest tip of all of these, and these ones are not as exact. If I had to choose between these two, I'd go for the Contè Paris. However, I'm pretty sure this one is the most available to all of you. These ones you'd have to be very lucky to find in a big art supply store. And also, a big pro of the neocolor one is that it comes in all kinds of different colors, which is very nice because, as it happens, details are not always black. I enjoyed that the Contè Paris is very black. If I go for a detail, I go for it, and then I want that to be the detail to be present. Therefore, I enjoyed working with this one more. But it did frustrate me every now and then because of its thicker lead. I'd say my tip is, if you see one of these two in a store somewhere, go grab it, but make sure it says Pitt oil base and not just Pitt. I made that mistake before, and that's the normal pastel pencil and not the oil-based pastel pencil. Go for it. I don't think you'll regret it. It costs between 2 and 3 euros in my country. And if you aren't able to get one of these, but you are able to get your hands on the neocolor 1, not 2, 1, 2 is water soluble, then this one is better than nothing. It's still firmer and comes to a finer point than a normal broad oil pastel stick. Therefore, all of these 3 are great options, and it does come down to personal preference. I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you so much for stopping by, and don't forget, if you want to see a special video for the 1000 subscriber celebration, leave a comment down below what you want to see. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!